The M62 motorway is a west-to-east trans-Pennine motorway in northern England, connecting the cities of Liverpool and Hull. The road also forms part of the unsigned Euroroutes E20, Shannon to St Petersburg, and E22, Holyhead to Ishim. The road is 107 miles, 172 kilometres long. However, for 7 miles it shares its route with the M60 motorway around Manchester. The motorway, which was first proposed in the 1930s and originally conceived as two separate routes, was built in stages between 1971 and 1976, with construction beginning at Pole Moor and finishing in Tarbock. The motorway also absorbed the northern end of the Stretford-Eccles bypass, which was built between 1957 and 1960. Adjusted for inflation to 2007, the motorway cost approximately £765 million to build. The motorway is relatively busy, with an average daily traffic flow of 100,000 cars in Yorkshire, and has several areas prone to gridlock, in particular between Leeds and Halifax in West Yorkshire. Since the Stretford-Eccles bypass was opened, the motorway's history beyond construction has included a coach bombing on the 4th of February 1974 and a rail crash on the 28th of February 2001. The motorway is additionally memorable for the farm in the Pennines, which is situated between the carriageways, which exists due to the geology of the surrounding area and has since become one of the most known sites in West Yorkshire. The road passes the cities of Salford, Manchester, Bradford, Leeds and Wakefield. Between Liverpool and Manchester, and east of Leeds, the terrain of the road is relatively flat, while between Manchester and Leeds the road crosses the hilly Pennines to its highest point on Saddleworth Moor at 53.62982 minus 2.018561, which is also the highest point of any motorway in the United Kingdom at 1,221 feet, 372 metres above sea level. Section 1. History. Origin of the road. The origins of the M62 date back to the 1930s, where the need for a route between Lancashire and Yorkshire had been agreed after discussion by the respective highway authorities of the counties. At the same time, it was envisaged that a route between Liverpool and Hull was also needed, connecting the two ports to industrial Yorkshire. Some years later, after World War II, the Minister of Transport appointed engineers to inspect road standards between the A580 road and Swinton and the A1 road near Selby. In 1949, that year's road plan for South Lancashire specified the need for the dualling and grade separation of the A580 road and bypasses of both Huyton and Cadishead. In 1952, the route for a trans-Pennine motorway, known as the Lancashire-Yorkshire motorway, was laid down, with Ferrybridge chosen as the eastern terminus rather than Selby. By the 1960s, however, the proposed dualling of the A580 in Lancashire was considered inadequate, and there was an urgent need to link Liverpool to the motorway network. The route of the Lancashire-Yorkshire motorway was also considered inadequate, as it failed to cater for several industrial towns in Yorkshire. When James Drake visited the United States in 1962, his experience with the interstate highway system led him to conclude that the Merseyside Expressway, planned only to run between Liverpool and the M6, would need extending to the Stretford-Eccles bypass, thus creating a continuous motorway between Liverpool and Ferrybridge. A link between Ferrybridge and Hull was not considered until 1964. Initially, these plans were unpopular and unsupported by the Ministry of Transport, but nevertheless the scheme was added to the road plan in 1963. Construction. Liverpool Inner Motorway. Originally, Liverpool was intended to have an urban motorway, along with Manchester, Leeds and Newcastle. In the latter cases, the motorways were constructed, the A57M, A58M and A167M, respectively. The M62 was intended to terminate upon the inner motorway, but due to the inner motorway not being constructed, the M62 link was not constructed either. The proposed route would follow the railway into Liverpool as far as Edge Hill, with junctions with Rathbone Road and Durning Road, dropping 2 lanes at the latter before terminating on the Islington Radial. West of Manchester. Originally, the section of the M62 west of Manchester was intended to be a separate motorway linking Liverpool with Salford, but a continuous motorway between Leeds and Liverpool was deemed to be more feasible, known as the M52. Construction of the motorway between Liverpool and Manchester started in 1971 with the construction of a link between the M57 and the M6 motorway. Concurrently, a contract to link the M6 with Manchester was underway, which required the removal of unsuitable material and drainage of the land. This section was completed in August 1974, creating a continuous link between Ferrybridge and Tarbuck. The section between Tarbuck and Liverpool was the last section of the motorway to be completed in 1976 due to the difficulties of building an urban motorway. In total, 2 viaducts, 10 bridges and 7 underpasses had to be constructed to secure the structural integrity of the surrounding residential area. The motorway, however, reached only as far as Queen's Drive, Junction 4, leaving the first 3 junctions unbuilt. In Greater Manchester. See also the articles entitled M60 Motorway, M602 Motorway and M63 Motorway. The first part of the M62 to be built was the Stretford-Eccles bypass, which now covers junctions 7 to 13 of the M60. Construction started in 1957 and opened in 1960. 2 separate motorways were planned, with the M52 running from Liverpool into Salford. The other, the M62, would link Pole Moor with the Stretford-Eccles bypass. The section between the interchange with the Stretford-Eccles bypass and Salford is now occupied by the M602 motorway. The Eccles to Pole Moor section was opened in 1971. Between Eccles and Pole Moor, 67 crossings of the motorway were required, including 7 viaducts and 8 junctions. Between Saddleworth and Lofthouse. The first section of the Yorkshire section of the motorway was completed in 1970 between the county boundary on Saddleworth Moor and Out Lane. The construction of the section between Saddleworth and Pole Moor was a difficult task, given the inhospitable hilly terrain, numerous peat bogs, and undesirable weather conditions. To build this section of motorway, 12 million cubic yards, 9,200,000 cubic metres of material was moved, 8 million cubic yards, 6,100,000 cubic metres of which was solid rock, 650,000 cubic yards, 500,000 cubic metres of this material was peat, which had to be cut from the rock strata and was eventually deposited on hillsides adjacent to the motorway. In addition to the problems caused by removal of the material, the geology of the moors resulted in the engineers needing to split the carriageways for 3/4 of a mile in the middle of this section, sparing Stott Hall Farm from demolition. 2 notable bridge constructions were the bridge carrying the Pennine Way, which is curved downwards with 85-foot, 26-metre long cantilevers, and Scannondon Bridge, often called the longest single-span non-suspension bridge in Britain, which carries a B road 120 feet, 37 metres, above the motorway. The mile-long section between Pole Moor and Out Lane suffered fewer problems, with the summer weather being satisfactory. Concurrently, a section of the motorway was being built between Gildersome and Lofthouse, resulting in the demolition of a significant proportion of the village of Tingley to build the eponymous interchange. Between the M1 and A1, 2 contracts were awarded for the section of the M62 between Lofthouse and Ferrybridge in 1972, and both were completed in 1974. On the first contract, care was needed at the crossing of the River Calder due to the alluvial bedrock, while on the second, precautions were taken as the length was built on old coal mine workings. East of Ferrybridge. The sections between Ferrybridge and North Cave were the last sections of the motorway to be conceived and built. One of the most notable features is the bridge crossing the River Ouse west of Goole, a structure nearly 1 mile long, rising to 30 metres above ground level, which commenced construction in January 1973. The bridge was delayed due to steel supplies being a chronic headache and a partial collapse of the framework caused by bolts joining a crossbeam to a trestle shearing. The problems with the Ouse Bridge pushed the opening of the whole section east of Goole back to May 1976. Development after opening. After its completion, the M62 experienced no major changes until 2000, when the section of the M62 between Eccles Interchange and Sinister Interchange, junctions 12 to 18, was renamed to the M60. Since then, 2 new junctions were opened. In December 2002, the previously missing Junction 8 was opened to allow access to the A574 and the Omega development site, while in January 2006, Junction 32A was opened to link the motorway with the recently upgraded A1M. The UK's first car-sharing lane on a motorway is planned to be opened at Junction 26, allowing any eastbound traffic from the M606 with more than one occupant to use the lane. An additional proposal to widen the motorway to 4 lanes between junctions 25 and 28 to reduce congestion is in the planning stage. Incidents. See also the main articles entitled M62 coach bombing and Selby rail crash. Since the motorway was opened, it has been the focus of 2 major events. On the 4th of February 1974, a bomb was detonated on a coach containing off-duty army personnel and family members between Chain Bar, junction 26, and Gilderson, junction 27, resulting in the deaths of 12 people and injuries in 38 other people. After the attack, the nearby Hartshead Moor service station was used as a makeshift hospital and base of investigation. The Provisional Irish Republican Army were deemed responsible for the attacks. On the 28th of February 2001, at 06:13 GMT, Gary Hart, a sleep-deprived driver, swerved off the M62 onto the East Coast Main Line near Selby. While Hart was calling the emergency services, a GNER southbound train collided with Hart's Land Rover and subsequently derailed into the path of an oncoming freight train. 10 people were killed, including the drivers of both trains, and a further 82 were injured. Section 2. Stott Hall Farm. Stott Hall Farm, at 53.641599, minus 1.952222, is an 18th century farm on Windy Hill, situated between the 2 carriageways of the motorway between junctions 22 and 23. The road forks around the farm for engineering reasons, owing to the surrounding area's geology, though a local myth persists that the road had to be split because the owners refused to sell the land during its construction. Due to its remoteness in the Pennines, the farm is often nicknamed as the Little House on the Prairie, and is often used as an unofficial service station for stranded motorists. The farm, which was occupied by Ken and Beth Wild at the time of the motorway's opening, is now farmed by Paul Thorpe. Due to its unusualness, it is one of the 10 best-known sites from the motorway network, and one of the best-known sites in West Yorkshire. Section 3. Impact upon culture. The M62 motorway is mentioned in a number of songs. One of the earliest songs is Driving Away from Home, Jim's tune, by It's Immaterial, a 1986 song which described the motorway as a way of getting to Manchester from the band's hometown of Liverpool. The Snake, a song from the album Secrets by the Human League, discusses the road as an alternative route to Hyde from the Snake Pass, the main subject of the song, and suggests the A628 as another alternative. More generally, It's Grim Up North by the Justified Ancients of Moo, released in 1991, consisted of a list of towns and cities in the grim north, in addition to the motorway itself. Doves named a song after the M62 on their 2002 album The Last Broadcast, which is stated to have been recorded under the M62 flyover at Northenden. The Man Who Lives on the M62 by John Shuttleworth and Tradition by Catherine Williams refer not to the motorway itself, but to Stott Hall Farm. Shuttleworth compares his emotions of sorrow to those of the inhabitants of the farm, while Williams uses the urban legend of the owner's refusal to sell the farm as an example of tradition. Rugby league is a popular sport in northern England, So much so that a 1994 survey revealed that 60% of people regularly attending rugby league matches lived in only 4 postal districts along the M62. Only 2 teams in the Super League, Catalans Dragons and Harlequins Rugby League, play outside northern England, and thus the phrase M62 corridor is sometimes used as a synonym for the rugby league heartlands. Section 4. Traffic. The M62 in 2006 had an average daily traffic flow of 100,000 cars east of the Pennines and 78,000 cars west of the Pennines. The border between the two areas is defined to be the West Yorkshire-Lancashire border at Junction 22. For comparison, the statistics for 1999 were 90,000 and 70,000 respectively, and the 2006 average daily traffic flow for the busiest stretch of motorway in the United Kingdom, the Western M25 motorway, that is between junctions 7 and 23, was 144,000 cars. Due to the high traffic flow in the area, the M62 between Halifax and Gildersome is one of the most congested roads in Britain, slowing to regular gridlock at junction 27. Section 5. Route. In addition to passing Warrington, Manchester, Huddersfield, Halifax, Bradford, Leeds and Wakefield, the towns of Huyton, St Helens, Widnes, Bury, Rochdale, Dewsbury, Pontefract, Selby and Goole are designated as primary destinations along the road. The road is a terminus to 2 motorways, the M57 motorway near Prescott and the M18 motorway near Rawcliffe, and has 4 spur routes, the M602 motorway, which serves Manchester, the A627M motorway, which serves Oldham and Rochdale, the M606 motorway, which serves Bradford, and the M621 motorway, which serves Leeds. Despite Hull being listed as a primary destination, the motorway downgrades near North Cave, 16 miles west. The motorway starts on Queen's Drive on Liverpool's Middle Ring Road. From there it runs eastward to Liverpool's Outer Ring Road, the M57. The route has 4 exits for Warrington, Junction 7, an interchange with the A57 road, Junction 8, which also houses IKEA, Junction 9, which interchanges with the A49 road, originally intended to be a motorway itself, and Junction 11. Between these is Junction 10, which is a cloverstack interchange with the M6 motorway. The M62 then crosses Chat Moss before interchanging with the M60 motorway. Due to original plans being to extend the section of the motorway into Manchester, motorists must turn off to stay on the route into Yorkshire. In Greater Manchester, the motorway shares 7 junctions, 12 to 18, with the M60 motorway. Junction 13, which is signposted for Swinton, is situated only half a mile from Junction 12, leaving exiting motorists the hazard of crossing the still merging M62 traffic. After this, there is Worsley Braided interchange, which, in addition to serving junctions 14 and 15, also serves junctions 1 to 3 of the M61 motorway, which terminates at Preston. Near Junction 22, the motorway gains a lane to climb Windy Hill before crossing the border into Yorkshire and interchanging with the rural A672 road, reaching the highest point of any motorway in England on the bridge. There is then a 7-mile, 11-kilometre travel through the Pennines to the next junction, passing Scamondon Water and Stott Hall Farm. The next junction is Junction 23, which is only accessible for westbound traffic. After this, the road dips through a valley to Junction 24 and drops slowly before interchanging with the A644 road at Junction 25. Between junctions 22 and 25, the road is used as a border between the metropolitan boroughs of Calderdale and Kirklees. At Junction 26, named Chain Bar, the motorway interchanges with several roads: the M606 motorway, a spur into Bradford, the A58 road, which runs between Prescott and Wetherby, and the A638 road, which runs to Doncaster. The next junction also serves a spur route, the M621 motorway, before bypassing Leeds to the south to the interchange with the M1 motorway, Lofthouse interchange, at Junction 29. East of Leeds, the motorway serves Wakefield at junction 30 and crosses by the River Calder. At junction 32A, the road is crossed by the A1M motorway, which also runs parallel to it for a short distance. The next junction serves the A162 road, previously the A1, and Ferrybridge service station. After Ferrybridge, the motorway becomes relatively flat, except for a mile-long bridge that crosses the River Ouse. For approximately 10 miles after this, the road runs towards Hull, serving Howden and North Cave, before downgrading to the A63 road. Exit list. Location and county. Knotty Ash, Merseyside. Mile, 0. Junction number, 4. Destinations, A5080. No westbound exit or eastbound entry. Start of motorway. 53 degrees 24 minutes 22 seconds north, 2 degrees 53 minutes 46 seconds west. Heighton, Merseyside. 1 mile. Junction 5. A5080, Heighton, Knotty Ash. Tarbock, Merseyside. 4 miles. Junction 6. M57, A5080, A5300, Prescott, Runcorn, Southport. Rainhill, Merseyside. 7 miles. Junction 7. A57, A557, A568, A570, St Helens, Widnes. Burtonwood, Cheshire. 11 miles. Junction 8. A574, Warrington, Burtonwood, and Burtonwood services. Winwick, Cheshire. 13 miles. Junction 9. A49, Warrington, Newton. Croft, Cheshire. 15 miles. Junction 10. M6, Birmingham, Preston, Chester, Manchester Airport. 53 degrees 25 minutes 34 seconds north, 2 degrees 33 minutes 22 seconds west. Risley, Cheshire. 17 miles. Junction 11. A574, Warrington, Birchwood. Eccles, Greater Manchester. 24 miles. Junction 12. M60, M602. Ring Road, Salford, Manchester. Westbound only, Warrington, Liverpool, Birmingham. Eastbound only, Bolton, Bury, Leeds. Motorway enters multiplex with M60. Motorists must turn off to stay on the route. 53 degrees 29 minutes 15 seconds north, 2 degrees 22 minutes 36 seconds west. Worsley, Greater Manchester. 25 miles. Junction 13. A572, A575. Swinton, Worsley, Lee. Worsley, Greater Manchester. 27 miles. Junction 14. A580, St Helens, Lee. Worsley Braided Interchange. No westbound entry or eastbound exit to A580 from junction 14. Threaded junction with junctions 2 and 3 of the M61. Worsley, Greater Manchester. 27 miles. Junction 15. M61. Bolton, Wigan, Preston. Swinton, Greater Manchester. 27 miles. Junction 16. A666. Salford, Pendlebury, Kersley. No eastbound entry or westbound exit. Whitefield, Greater Manchester. 29 miles. Junction 17. A56. Whitefield, Prestwich. Simister, Greater Manchester. 31 miles. Junction 18. M60. M66, Leeds, Bury, Blackburn, Burnley, Ashton-under-Lyne. Motorway leaves multiplex with M60. 53 degrees, 32 minutes, 59 seconds north, 2 degrees, 15 minutes, 38 seconds west. Birch, Greater Manchester, 33 miles. Birch services. Hayward, Greater Manchester, 34 miles. Junction 19. A6046, Hayward, Middleton. Castleton, Greater Manchester, 36 miles. Junction 20. A627M, Rochdale, Oldham, Ashton-under-Lyne. Milnrow, Greater Manchester, 38 miles. Junction 21. A640, Milnrow, Shaw. Saddleworth Moor, West Yorkshire, 42 miles. Junction 22. A672, Ripponden, Saddleworth, Sowerby Bridge. Outlane, West Yorkshire, 49 miles. Junction 23. A640, A643, Huddersfield. No westbound exit or eastbound entry. Ainley Top, West Yorkshire, 51 miles. Junction 24. A629, Huddersfield, Halifax. Brighouse, West Yorkshire, 55 miles. Junction 25. A644, Brighouse, Halifax. Clifton, West Yorkshire, 56 miles. Hartshead Moor services. Scoles, West Yorkshire, 58 miles. Junction 26. M606, A58, A638, Bradford, Halifax, Cleckheaton. Gildersham, West Yorkshire, 62 miles. Junction 27. M621, A62, A650. Leeds, Bradford, Batley, Morley. Tingley, West Yorkshire, 65 miles. Junction 28. A653, Leeds, Dewsbury, Leeds Bradford International Airport. Lofthouse, West Yorkshire, 68 miles. Junction 29. M1, London, Leeds, Wakefield, the North. 53 degrees, 43 minutes, 51 seconds north, 1 degree, 30 minutes, 43 seconds west. Bottom Boat, West Yorkshire, 70 miles. Junction 30. A642, Rothwell, Wakefield. Normanton, West Yorkshire, 73 miles. Junction 31. A655, Normanton, Castleford. Glasshorton, West Yorkshire, 76 miles. Junction 32. A639, Pontefract, Castleford. Ferrybridge, West Yorkshire, 78 miles. Junction 32A. A1M, the North, the South, Wetherby, Doncaster. 53 degrees, 42 minutes, 40 seconds north, 1 degree, 17 minutes, 27 seconds west. Ferrybridge, West Yorkshire, 79 miles. Junction 33. A162, the South, Doncaster, Pontefract, Ferrybridge, Nottingley, and Ferrybridge services. Eggborough, North Yorkshire, 84 miles. Junction 34. A19, Selby, Doncaster. Rawcliffe, East Riding of Yorkshire, 92 miles. Junction 35. M18, the South, Doncaster. Goole, East Riding of Yorkshire, 95 miles, junction 36, A614, Goole. Howden, East Riding of Yorkshire, 98 miles, junction 37, A63, A614, Howden, Bridlington. A63 exits multiplex with A614 and enters multiplex with M62. North Cave, East Riding of Yorkshire, 107 miles, junction 38, B1230, North Cave, Gilberdyke. End of motorway, M62 downgrades to A63, 53 degrees 46 minutes 16 seconds north, 0 degrees 41 minutes 7 seconds west.